Hey everyone, Nubkeks here. In today's video, I'm going to guide you through the answer to one of the most frequently asked questions that I get across all of my videos, all of my live streams on Heroes of the Storm and on Hero League and competitive play in Heroes of the Storm, which is, well, there's two sides to it. The first side is how many heroes should I play and how well should I play them to start in Hero League? And then the other side for, the more advanced player is how many heroes should I play and how well should I play them to climb or to keep climbing in Hero League. So in this video, I'm going to give you actually a very simple yet still very detailed and very visual tool and method actually to start sorting this stuff out and to give you explicit and specific answers onto exactly how you should do it. In order to do this, we're going to jump over to heroeshearth.com, which is, it's a totally free, of course, sort of social media site, basically for Heroes of the Storm. You got blog posts, you've got people can post talent builds, tier lists, all that sort of stuff. I found it really great myself. It's just a really nice design. You can click up on your profile when you've made that. We're going to hop over into the tier list tool and we're going to kind of abuse it in some ways, or well, use it creatively, let's say. We've got tier lists for every single map. I'm going to actually just jump onto Battlefield of Eternity, click this reset button, boom, it's reset. I'm going to delete this stuff. And there you go. We've got basically, get a little preview there because I was tinkering with this earlier. Oh, tier 1. And we're basically going to use this, just a completely blank tool here to kind of fill this stuff out. Okay, so how is this going to work? What are we going to do? Well, basically, what I'm going to do is break this down into 4 different tiers for you to sort your heroes into and then tell you how often you should be playing heroes from each different tier and how many should be in them. So, for example, tier 1 is going to be our comfort pick heroes. Tier 2 is going to be our B team heroes. Tier 3 is going to be our if I need to heroes, and then tier 4 is going to be our I should never ever play this hero in Hero League heroes. And I'm going to tell you exactly what the characteristics are, what the criteria are for each one, how many should go into each tier, and then how often you should be looking to play each one. So let's dive into it. Okay, well, here we go. Tier 1 comfort pick heroes, and you can see I've thrown 4 heroes into this. And that's roughly speaking the number that you're going to be looking for in this tier. You're gonna want 3 to 4 heroes up here. Roughly speaking, that's a great, solid and fairly average amount. What are your comfort pick heroes? Well, the heroes that you are very, very good at. You've got a great win rate on these heroes consistently over plenty of games. You're confident that you can play these heroes even in a really high pressure situation, which is the sort of situation you're going to run into in Hero League, Even when you get those games where you're getting crushed by the enemy team, you know that you're going to do a great job on this hero and you're still going to have as positive an impact on the game as it is possible for you to have. These will often as well be some of your favorite heroes. You should really love playing these ones. And if you're looking to climb Hero League, you should be playing these heroes as often as you possibly can. Now, one thing to note about these as well, right, is that they're not tied into the meta directly at all, okay? That's not something that you're looking to do. These are simply the heroes that click with you. They're the heroes that you are best at. It doesn't matter if people consider them to be strong right now. It doesn't matter if they're meta right now. At this point, all you're looking for is just, these are my 3 or my 4 best heroes, and they're the ones that I perform well on, and it doesn't matter what other people think, at least not yet. Actually, I should have clarified this at the start, but one of the really big principles that's super important for understanding what heroes you should play in Hero League is to understand that everyone has heroes that they're going to be great at and heroes they're going to be bad at. Everyone has their own personal style. Everyone only has so much time to devote to mastering a certain number of heroes. In a perfect world, yeah, sure, every single hero would be a comfort pick hero. That would be great, that would be fantastic. But that's just, it's too complicated. There's not enough time for that, and that's just not the way it's gonna be. All right, with that being covered, let's jump into tier 2 here, and what I'm calling the B team heroes. What are B team heroes? Well, B team heroes, they're very much like your comfort pick heroes, but they're really that step below. You don't play them as often, you don't love them as much, but you're still like a really solid player on those heroes. And now crucially, when we get to the B team heroes, you want a much bigger pool of these. It would be really nice if you had about 10 or so of these. And you'd also like, at this point, to really start paying attention to whether you've got heroes from every single role within this group. Okay, that's going to be something to look out for. At the moment, you don't have to force it, but at this stage, you should sit back and note, oh, hang on, I don't have any support or warrior heroes in here. I only have assassins. That's a point where you have to stop and say, okay, this might be something we'll come back to at the end and reassess. Alright, so there we go. I actually went slightly over the 10 here myself. And I'm kind of noticing as I'm doing this that I'm going to do a second pass on this. And I'm going to switch some heroes around. I'm going to knock heroes up to comfort picks. I'm trying to be pretty ruthless here to keep it kind of to the minimum. Or sort of that average for what we'd be doing. Again, to remind you guys, like I do play every hero in the game, so like there's other ones that I would, add in that, that kind of click with me and that I'd be pretty good at playing. Oh, Karazim, I could stick in him in here as well. Okay, no, I need to be more ruthless, and then I'm going to do another pass after I've kind of set the basic standards. And then we're going to go through and I'm going to try to come out with actually like my complete list as it would stand right now. So anyway, let's move on before I keep adding heroes in here and making a mess of this. Okay, so tier 3 are your if I have to heroes. These are heroes that you can play. You've got an acceptable, fairly average win rate on them, but you're not amazing at them. You can improve, but you can still do okay. You can still enjoy playing the heroes. You don't hate them. And you'll do all right, but this is kind of the tier where you're going, man, if we have a really tough game, like I could screw this up. Or you're kind of going, let's say, oh yeah, Thrall, I'm okay at Thrall and I could play Thrall. How does Thrall match up into Dahaka in a solo lane? You know what? I've got no idea. I have no idea what I'm going into here, so it's a little bit up in the air. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not an expert on this hero like I would be with some of those comfort pick or the B team heroes. At this point, crucially in tier 3, you need to have every single role covered within tiers 1, 2, and 3. You need to have them all covered. These are your if you have to heroes. And it's just the way Hero League works right now. There will be games where your teammates go, yeah, you gotta play support here. Or yeah, you gotta play the tank. You gotta do it. You've got the solo lane. And you need to have something that you can at least pull out that will be okay in those sort of situations. You can tell your team, hey, I'm not actually that great at these heroes, but you should at least have some heroes that you go, all right, if I'm stuck here, I can play support. I know what the basic talent build is. I'm not gonna be the best at it, but I'm gonna do a reasonable enough job. I can fill in for my team if they need me to. That's what you're looking for really with the tier 3 heroes here. Okay, there you go. That's my basic tier 3 layout here. Again, I'm going kind of simple. I'm going to do a more detailed pass, super sped up, where I actually fix up my tiers properly, like I've said. But this is kind of like a simple pass for me, where I've got a solo laner, a couple of solo laners in there, heroes that can do that. I've got a couple of supports in here, a couple of main tanks in here, and then a couple of damage dealers in here as well. So I kind of got a little bit of everything covered here in my tier 3 heroes. And that's a good sort of solid basis for what this should look like. I should also point out, actually, I forgot to say this, I'll type it in here now actually as well, but you can actually play these as well. Not only when you're stuck with no option to play a higher tier hero, but if it does fit absolutely perfectly in your draft, then you can do it. For example, let's say with Oriel, Oriel works insanely well with Vala and Tassadar. That trifecta combo is kind of infamous for being insanely good. Tassadar shields Vala, Vala can go crazy with the shields, doing loads of damage that she wouldn't be able to do otherwise because she'd be a little bit too squishy. That extra protection helps her do that, and that feeds the Oriel's energy, and then Oriel can just do loads of heals, and her, Vala, and Tassadar all tend to be fairly clumped up, so she's doing loads of energy heals and AoE. It's just a super good synergy. So for example, if I was going into a game and let's say it was on Brax's holdout, we've got on the final pick, we've got that stuff all set up already. I can see the enemy team and they have no counter picks. Their draft is simply cannot deal with this setup if we have it. In that sort of situation, I go, okay, hang on. Normally, I wouldn't want to be playing Oriel at all. I'd much rather play these other ones. But in this situation, it fits so perfectly, and I'm okay at playing the hero. I'm not an expert, but I can do, you know, an acceptable job. I'm not going to let my team down dramatically. It just fits so well here that I'm going to be willing actually to pick her up instead of, let's say, let's say Uther or Rhaegar, heroes that I'm personally much more comfortable on. I'll actually step back and play the Oriel in this case because it fits so well. So that's actually something that I need to note here as well. So let me type that in. There's a little fly freaking landing on my neck. Get away from me, fly. God damn it. All right, tier 4, never ever heroes. These are basically heroes that you have tried playing before and you've got a bad win rate in these heroes. You do not succeed, and you've noticed that over several games. This is really just to give yourself a visual clue and to help sort of declutter, because there's so many heroes in this game, there's a lot. Just to visually say and kind of set down a note for yourself, yeah, actually, you know what, you've tried this hero and you failed so many times. Until I sit down and study up on how to play this hero, I should not pick this hero in Hero League. And then you can go, okay, for example, let me throw in one hero here. Okay, so for example, Lucio, right? I've got a terrible win rate on Lucio. I don't think I'm that bad on Lucio, but the stats show me that I am. What I need to do is I need to sit down and learn Lucio, and I'm not gonna pick him until I've done that. So when I go into Hero League, I can look at this and go, oh yeah, Lucio, he looks pretty good here, but no. Even if they fit the draft perfectly, I know that I've picked him in those situations and not succeeded. I need to study up on him first. Instead, let's look at the other supports. Okay, I got, Brightwing or Oriel or Rhaegar. I've got plenty of other heroes here that I can pick up instead that fulfill that same role, but that I don't suck at. So yeah, just visually, these are ones you never ever want to pick in Hero League because you're not that good at them. Okay, and there you go. I've thrown in a few heroes here that I know fit the bill for me. Heroes that I've really not played much. I don't have much experience on them, or I have, in fact, let's say for Kerrigan or Artanis, I've actually played them quite a lot, but they just don't click with me that well. I still have got a bad win rate on them, and it would require a lot more practice for me to actually get good enough on them to bust out in a Hero League game that I actually, want to do a good job in and actually want to win. So yeah, these are my never ever heroes. So yeah, what I'm gonna do right now, so this is my first attempt. I'm gonna super speed this up and I'm gonna rearrange this to actually reflect fair accuracy actually what this would look like for me. This would be roughly speaking what it might look like for an average player, where there's a good chunk of heroes. Actually, this is probably more full than it would be for most players, certainly people starting out in Hero League. But that's okay. But let's say like someone who's been playing the game a good bit, this is probably what your stuff looks like. There's a chunk of heroes you don't own, and then roughly speaking you look a bit like this. I'm going to fill it out properly for me now, and then I'm going to fill you in a couple of final points to really help you use this tool to its maximum potential. So okay, talk to you in a second. Alright guys, well there we go. I actually went through and kind of did a second pass like I said I would and sorted it out the way I would kind of set it up. So for example, you can see I've got a lot more comfort pick heroes than is, strictly necessary. These are heroes I just, they click with me and I know that I can perform well on them in every single game. And these are the ones that if I was looking to climb Hero League and do the best I could, I'd be looking to just play these as much as possible in every single draft. And just I'd work out, okay, these are the maps that they're good on, and just focus on these ones basically and try to pick them as often as possible because I know that I've got a really good win rate on them and that I can be very successful on them kind of kind of no matter what, you know, I'll have a pretty big impact. And again, this stuff, it doesn't necessarily correspond to the meta. The meta does affect it a little bit. So for example, you know, Asmodan wouldn't be super meta on a lot of the maps, but that doesn't matter because I still feel comfortable on him at the moment. Or for example, I know that Malthael, that some of that comfort comes from the fact that he is, well, kind of crazy OP at the moment. So that is part of it, and that once he gets nerfed down, it's going to take me a little bit of time to kind of relearn that hero and how he actually sort of fits in. That brings me to one of the final points that I want to cover, which is, well, okay, I've set this up and I've got an idea for the heroes that I'm good at, and the heroes that I can play and the heroes that I can't play. Well, how does this fit in with, you know, the meta, with the tier list stuff that you normally do, right? And heroes that are considered strong right now? What should I be looking for? What should I do? And that's the thing. Finding heroes that work for you in Hero League is a balance between the heroes that you personally are good at and then heroes that are strong in the meta right now. The sweet spot is where those two things overlap. They're the ones that really stand out as being really, really good for you. And one thing you can do is if you're sitting down and looking at your comfort picks and going, okay, well, none of these are meta right now. You know, my comfort picks are Murky, Valera, and I don't know, Rexar. You know, they're kind of unusual heroes that don't fit in every single draft. One thing you can do is, you know, sit down and say, okay, I should actually go and learn and practice a hero enough that they do become a comfort pick. So that I've got comfort pick heroes that are going to actually fit into what's strong right now that little bit more. Also, you might need to expand your comfort picks and your B team heroes. If, for example, you only play meta heroes that are always, you know, picked or banned and you're just never going to play them. So for example, if Malthael is your only comfort pick hero, it's not going to serve you that well in Hero League because he's going to be banned nearly every single time or first picked. The chances you're going to get him are not that high. So then you're stuck with going, okay, well, Malthael's my only comfort pick, but I can't get him. That's just not that useful. I need to find more comfort picks to kind of try guarantee that you can get your comfort picks in as many games as you can. That's kind of what you're looking for here. And to clarify as well, in terms of the roles, do you need to be able to play warriors, assassins, supports, specialists, you know, solo laners, main tanks, main healers, second supports, all that sort of stuff, all the different roles, all the different niches that you can play in the game? Do you need to be able to play them all? The answer is yes, but you need to be able to play them all within your top 3 tiers. It could be, and it's okay for you to be a bad support player. Support just doesn't click with you, and all of your support heroes are in, you know, tier 3 or tier 4. That's actually fine. So long as you do have, you know, at least 3 support heroes within tier 3, you might want 3 or 4, so that you can guarantee that you can play a support hero, regardless of what it is, unfortunately, but that at least you can play one in every game, kind of regardless of what happens, so that you can fill that role out if your team needs it, and you can communicate that to your team that you're just not that good at it, but that if they go, well, we don't care, you have to play that anyway, that you can at least pull something out and make a reasonable attempt at it regardless. Do you have to have every role as a comfort pick hero? No, it's totally cool if every single comfort pick is, you know, a specialist split pusher, or every single comfort pick is a ranged assassin. That's totally fine, no problem there. Once you come to your B team heroes, it would be quite nice to start to incorporate and include more than one role here. You can get away with it, let's say if your comfort picks are all ranged assassins and your B team are all ranged assassins, you can kind of get away with it, but really by the time you get to B team, you do want to include, you know, maybe 2 or 3 roles of heroes that you're actually pretty good on, even if it's just one hero from a role. So for example, you could have all ranged assassins. B team, you got a chunk of ranged assassins. Then you've also got, a tank and 2 bruisers, for example, you know, 2 solo lane heroes like the Sonya and and Ragnaros. There you go, boom, great. So that's fantastic. You got a little bit of variety in there. And then when you get to tier 3, that's where you expand it out and you go, okay, well, need to have 3 or 4 tanks, 3 or 4 of everything, and I've got them all covered between these 3 tiers. So yeah, there you go. That's basically it. I hope that this being a visual tool is actually a very helpful thing for you to do, and that when you sit down and look at it, you can go, okay, I'm moving into Hero League now. Starting off, I've got my 3 comfort pick heroes. I've got, 10 B team heroes, and then I filled out, 2 or 3 heroes with every role in tier 3. I'm ready to start. I'm ready to go into Hero League. I'm going to focus on my best heroes. Got some backup ones if I need to. And then as I learn the meta of Hero League and what's strong right now, I'm going to start adding, moving some heroes up the tiers through practice, or then moving some from my never ever, or even just heroes I've never played. I kind of have Stukov there in tier 5 for that one. I'm going to start moving those up and expanding my roster as I go and aiming for these sort of rough numbers. And then, hey, if I can make them higher, that's fantastic. but this is kind of my starting point, and this is what I'm aiming to have in order to have success in my Hero League game. So yeah, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you got any tips or any comments or any advice down below, do let me know and let everyone else know, so you can kind of all help each other and make Hero League a better place for each other as well. There should be videos coming up on the screen that you can click to check out more stuff that you might find helpful, other top tips and guides from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time for some more Heroes of the Storm and other games too, which I play sometimes as well. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.